It started with a simple phone call. A calm voice, polite, controlled, almost too controlled. A man named Cain Mays called authorities, claiming there was a problem at his family property. He said relatives were inside, people who weren't supposed to be there. He mentioned missing valuables, guns, jewelry, personal belongings. It sounded like a messy family dispute. Nothing unusual. But then he called again. This time he requested a welfare check on his elderly grandmother. And then, just hours later, he canceled it. That decision, small at the time, would later become one of the most chilling moments in the entire case. Because Cain wasn't solving a problem. He was managing one. While Cain was keeping deputies away from the house, someone else walked into the sheriff's office. A man named Mike. He was worried. 3 family members, his brother-in-law, a 92-year-old woman, and another relative, had suddenly gone silent. No calls, no contact, completely out of character. And then Mike said something that changed everything. Cain is part of the problem. Now the pieces started to connect. Same house, same people, same timeline. Deputies headed to the property. They cleared the home carefully, room by room. No people, no bodies, no obvious signs of violence. Just clutter, boxes stacked everywhere, disarray. It looked like someone had been moving out in a hurry. Strange, but not criminal. So they left. And in that moment, the illusion worked, because what they didn't see was what had been cleaned. Later that day, the lead investigator called Cain directly. Cain sounded calm, cooperative, too cooperative. He claimed everything was fine, said he had already spoken to authorities, said there was nothing to worry about, but there was a problem. That conversation never happened. And now detectives knew something was off. Then came the break. Early the next morning, a call came in. Smoke rising from the desert. Deputies arrived and spotted a burned, overturned vehicle. Inside, 3 bodies, burned beyond recognition. But the car, it matched one from the missing family. In that moment, everything changed. This was no longer a missing persons case. This was murder. Autopsy results confirmed the worst. The victims were Cain's own family, his grandmother, his uncle, his stepbrother. 3 people, all dead. At least one had been shot. The rest burned. Which meant one thing: the fire wasn't the crime. It was the cover-up. Now the investigation turned fully toward Cain. Detectives uncovered a troubling past: violence, control, and abuse in his marriage. His wife described a man capable of harm, a man who had escalated before. And then came the forensic search of the house. This time, they used chemicals to reveal what had been hidden. And suddenly, the truth lit up. Blood, cleaned but not gone. Shell casings, evidence of gunfire. A crime scene carefully scrubbed. What looked empty before was now screaming. But one question remained. Did Cain act alone? That's when another name surfaced. His half-sister, Cassandra. She inserted herself into the story almost immediately, calling police, redirecting suspicion, suggesting others were involved. But her story didn't hold. And then investigators discovered something chilling. While officers spoke to Cassandra outside her home, Cain was inside, hiding, listening, right there. Soon, both Cain and Cassandra were taken into custody. During interrogation, Cain tried to explain. He claimed he arrived after the killings, said he heard gunshots, suggested the victims somehow killed each other. But the story didn't make sense. Not with the evidence, not with the cleanup, not with the burning of bodies. Because no innocent person finds 3 dead relatives and decides to burn them in a car. And then he slipped. He admitted to moving the bodies, admitted to setting the fire, calling it a cremation. That single word told investigators everything they needed to know. In the end, the case wasn't solved by one dramatic moment. It was solved piece by piece. Phone calls, text messages, blood evidence, witness statements, contradictions, and one simple truth: guilty people often believe they can talk their way out. Kane tried to control the narrative from the very beginning, calling police, canceling checks, shaping what officers saw, and when they saw it. But once investigators looked deeper, once they stopped taking words at face value, the entire story collapsed. 3 people lost their lives. A home became a crime scene, a vehicle became a grave, and 2 suspects tried to outrun the truth. But in the end, the truth caught up, because no matter how carefully you clean, no matter how convincingly you lie, some things always come back to the surface.